Black people really invent hip hop because when you think about it, hip hop is really a global culture now. I mean, shit, you got rappers from every race and country. You got motherfuckers from Korea, Japan, the UK, shit, France, Africa, shit, basically everywhere. So, how did a culture that started in New York become one of the biggest cultural forces in the entire world? I mean, more importantly, who created hip hop? The beginning of hip hop. Alright, so hip hop was born in the Bronx, New York during the 1970s. At the time, the Bronx was dealing with serious poverty, crime, abandoned buildings, and even economic problems. And even with neglected neighborhoods, people still created something. But hip hop never began in a giant recording studio or major record labels. It began at parties. And the prime person was DJ Kool Herc, who was a Jamaican immigrant living in the Bronx at the time. He noticed when he played certain records that people liked certain parts of those records more than other parts.
1973, a young DJ spins records at a packed party in the Bronx. The crowd erupts as he loops drum beats into new sounds. Unbeknownst to them, they just experienced the birth of hip-hop. Born in Jamaica and immigrated to the Bronx at age 12, Herc spun records with his dad and later developed a technique extending the percussive break by switching between records. On August 11, 1973, Herc hosted a party showcasing his breakbeat method. His collaborator Coke LaRock rhymed over the extended breaks while attendees performed break dances. Soon, other DJs adopted Herc's style, sparking a cultural movement that became known as hip-hop.
More specifically, the instrumental breaks. This is where the part of the drums and the rhythm were most powerful. So we started to play with the break on, one record, then switch it to another record and bring the break back again, basically. This allowed people to keep on dancing and soon became the foundation of what would become hip-hop. There, right away, we see something important, that hip-hop was primarily created by Black Americans, but also influenced by Caribbean and the Puerto Rican communities. It was like a combination of cultures coming together in New York. The 4 elements of hip hop. When people think about hip hop, they often think about rap only, but traditionally, hip hop is considered to have 4 major elements. The first is DJing, which is who controls the music, the beats, the samples, and the sound. The second is the MCing, which is what we basically call rapping now. The third is breakdancing or breaking. And the fourth is graffiti art. And together these created a culture which is important. Hip hop wasn't just a type of music. It was a way to express yourself. If you couldn't afford a recording studio, shit, you could have performed at a block party. If you wanted to be heard by politicians or the media, shit, you can go ahead and grab a mic and just speak. That's partially why hip hop was so powerful. It gave people a voice. Even though Black Americans created hip hop, other communities still played a role too. The Puerto Rican and the Latino communities were deeply involved in the development of hip hop, especially in breakdancing, graffiti, DJ culture. I mean, sometimes one group creates the foundation and other groups contribute, and eventually the culture spreads worldwide. Why did hip hop come from Black America? Alright, now this is where it gets complicated. Black Americans have developed musical traditions for generations. I mean, shit, just think about it. Blues, gospel, jazz, soul, funk, rhythm and blues. All of these are styles that influenced hip hop. Hip hop basically took the rhyme, the storytelling, improvisation, and energy from the earlier traditions and turned them into something new. Like, for example, a rapper telling a story about their life, that connects to traditions that existed back in blues or other Black, musical styles. So while the use of the rhythm and the improvisation connects to jazz, and the heavy drums and grooves connect to funk, the call and response style can be found in African and African American music traditions. Shit, hip hop didn't come from nowhere. It evolved as the next musical tradition. The role of sampling. One of the most important things about early hip hop was the sampling. DJs would take parts of the older songs and use them to make new songs, something new. And that's what made hip hop so creative. A producer could look at decades of music and say, alright, what can I do with this? That mentality is still a huge part of hip hop even today. But when hip hop became a business, that's when everything changed. Because at first hip hop was mostly local, performed at parties, and mostly any DJs and MCs in your neighborhood you will know of. But eventually the music industry realized that hip hop could actually make a lot of money. Once record labels started to invest into hip hop, it became a national thing, and then it became international. Rappers started becoming celebrities and began selling millions of records. Eventually, hip-hop became one of the most powerful forms of music in the world like it is today. Today, you may hear rap everywhere, in commercials, movies, video games. Shit, you can hear it in sports or politics. Even companies that once ignored hip-hop, they use it now to sell products. But this brings up another question though. If Black Americans created hip hop, why don't we control most of the money in the hip hop industry? Which that's a much bigger conversation, because creating a culture and controlling the business built around that culture are just two different things. Culture versus business. Sadly, just because we created something doesn't automatically mean our community owns the companies that profit from us. Another endless cycle in history. A group of people can create the music, fashion, slang, art, and culture. Then businesses come take it and figure out, all right, how can we sell this to people? Sometimes the creators become extremely wealthy, and sometimes the company makes the big money. It just matters on who's controlling the distribution, ownership, publishing, and the marketing, which is basically, the business side. Now, hip-hop isn't just music, it's a massive global industry. Rappers make money through streaming, concerts, merch, sales, brand deals, movies, social media, shit, etc. But the people who actually own the music usually has more long-term power than the performer does. Why did hip-hop spread so far? I think one of the reasons hip-hop spreads so successfully is because it's so adaptable. You can rap from anywhere, and you don't really need to speak English or be Black to appreciate hip-hop. You could take the basic idea of it and adapt it to your own life. That's why you hear rap music coming from places in South Korea, Japan, Brazil, France, Germany, Africa, the UK, and shit, even more places than that. People can take the format of hip-hop and tell their own stories. But to be real, that might be the greatest sign that a culture has become powerful. It travels, evolves, and even changes, but it still carries pieces of where it came from. Does hip-hop still belong to Black Americans? Some say it's global now, and it doesn't belong to one race. Others say hip-hop was created by Black Americans, so we'll always have a special cultural connection to it. Both ideas can be true at the same time. I mean, hip-hop is now a global culture, and at the same time, its origins is still its origins. A culture can become global without people forgetting where it came from or who created the foundation. That's like people all over the world play basketball, but people don't forget that basketball originated in the United States. People everywhere can participate in hip-hop, but the history of hip-hop will always begin with the Black and the Latino communities of the Bronx. So, I mean, did Black people really invent hip-hop? Yeah. We were the primary creators of hip-hop as a cultural movement, but also being shaped by Caribbean and Latino influences, especially where it first developed in the Bronx. Shit, interesting enough, hip-hop was born from struggle, creativity, music, tech, and different communities coming together. But what started at parties grew into culture and became a whole music industry that is now one of the biggest cultural forces on earth. The biggest lesson is you don't always need money or powerful institutions to change the world. Sometimes all you need is creativity, a community, and a strive for better. Take what you have and imagine something bigger. But tell me what you think. Do you think hip-hop is still primarily Black American culture, or has it become completely global culture now? Let me know down in the comments if you fuck with this shit. Like, subscribe, click that shit. I plan on continuing to explore more questions about culture, history, race, money, in the world that we live in. So if you fuck with shit like this, let me know in the comments what we doing next. Subscribe, because we coming back with some more shit.